ancient monuments like Easter Island and the pyramids and so on, and how they're all built in alignment one with another. And he has like a lot of really interesting information. Well, one of the things that he talks about, and we interview him, is the alignment of the Revolutionary War cities in America. And this is actually from his website. We do like a 3D animation in the film, but I wanted to show you what he's got on his site. And up there up north, you've got Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. And these are all built in a perfect alignment along the eastern seaboard. So the question that we ask, considering that it was Masons who came to this country early on, they were sent by Bacon, and Rosicrucians were sent with them. Now in Rosicrucianism in a nutshell, the symbol for Rosicrucianism is the rose and the cross. For those who remember Dan Brown's book, The Da Vinci Code, he talks about secret information being sub rosa, beneath the rose. And it's a reference to hidden information, hidden knowledge, secret knowledge. And so the rose represents collectively the mystery religions, the pagan religions, the occult. The cross represents Christianity. And Rosicrucianism is what you get when you combine paganism and Christianity. This is why the Gnostics, for example, you can go to a Rosicrucian website today. You can go to AMORC, the Ancient Mystical Order of the Rose and Cross, online today. Look them up, and they will tell you flat out, oh yeah, they embrace ancient Gnosticism, they embrace Christianity, they embrace all these religious traditions. If you read the writings of Sir Francis Bacon, who was a very ardent Rosicrucian, in fact, his New Atlantis was called the New Atlantis, the land of the Rosicrucians, the land of the Rosicrucians. Why? Because it is this combination, it's this fusion of paganism and Christianity. That's what it represents. That's why when you read Bacon, so much of the time you'll read Bacon and he's talking about the Lord Jesus Christ, and he's talking about the atonement on the cross. He's talking about all these things that sound very, very Christian. And then he'll go and talk about Pallas Athena and the god Apollo and all of these other pagan traditions, and they're all blended together. And this makes it very, very difficult. I mean, if you want to, when you're examining American history and you're looking at guys, some people will quote somebody like Benjamin Franklin, and he may have some quotes here and there about prayer and about calling out to God and this kind of thing. But if you don't understand how he could do that, how he could refer to the Bible and then refer to the occult, but Rosicrucianism really explains how that's possible, because it's the embracing of both ideas. If you follow this alignment from, real quick, Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston, all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, it leads you to Stonehenge. And so the alignment is built in perfect alignment with Stonehenge. Now in Rosicrucianism, part of the reason I started to tell you this, they have what is called the Hermetic maxim. The Hermetic maxim is as above, so below. And you will see statues or drawings or paintings or so on. Probably, if any of you have ever seen the Baphomet, okay, which is that goat-headed looking devil thing, sitting cross-legged, right, with a flame above his head. Well, next time you see it, look, and you'll see he's got one hand going like this and another hand going down that way. Okay? And it means as above, so below. There's even a statue of George Washington that was done. I think it's in the Smithsonian. If I had a picture, I could show you. But you've got Washington sitting there dressed like some Roman god, and he's got one hand up and one hand down. As above, so below. Now the reason that's important, because that's a very dominant principle and teaching in the occult, is the reason that the pyramids were built in alignment with the stars is because of that maxim. The reason that they build things in alignment with astrology and things like that is because they're looking to the heavens, that which is above, and they're trying to imitate that which is above down below. And so this would explain why they would build these things in alignment, because the thinking would be, if this was intentional, the thinking would be that the early American cities would be empowered by the same powers that empower Stonehenge. That's the whole reason for doing it, because the Rosicrucian, the occultist, believes if they design a building or a city or whatever in alignment with the stars, that those same gods and goddesses that are above are going to empower you down below. And so they're drawing upon this occult power. So the question is, was this accidental? Is this just a coincidence? Or was this the intentional design of these secret societies who came to America early on? And we pose the question. All right, so here's another quote from Hall. Hall says, "It must be remembered that Bacon did not play a lone hand. He was the head of a secret society, including in its membership the most brilliant intellectuals of his day. All these men were bound together by a common oath to labor in the cause of a world democracy. Bacon's Society of the Unknown Philosophers," that's the reference to the New Atlantis, these wise philosophers who are hidden away and nobody knows who they are. Bacon's Society of the Unknown Philosophers included men of high rank and broad influence. Together with Bacon, they devised the colonization scheme. Now what's interesting about the Society of Unknown Philosophers, this leader in the story, the New Atlantis, this leader comes out and he's the head of, one of the heads of the House of Solomon. And he shares with these Christian sailors what the treasures of the House of Solomon are. And he starts describing what the treasures are. And he starts describing tall buildings and flying machines and submarines and underwater breathing apparatuses. And he's describing sound studios where they have instruments that allow you to speak and to project your voice over a long period or a great distance and so on. He's describing zoos. He's describing experiments upon animals, injecting them with poison to see how they'll respond so that that knowledge can then be used for the benefit of mankind. And he's describing all of these things, most of which did not exist during that era, but things that would be developed through the 19th and the 20th century in America. And this has caused a lot of people to marvel when they read Bacon's work. And many people credit Bacon, there have been Baconian societies that revere Sir Francis Bacon for hundreds of years. And many of them credit Bacon because of this and because of his influence through these secret groups and his philosophy about what America should become. They credit Bacon as the real and true founder of America. Okay, but notice what Hall says. I want to draw your attention to the last couple of words he puts in there. He says, together with Bacon, they devised the colonization scheme. Now, we go to this Newfoundland stamp from 1910. And if you look at the stamp, it's a 6-cent stamp, and you have the image of Sir Francis Bacon on there. And down below it says, Lord Bacon, the guiding spirit in colonization scheme. So this idea about Bacon, this wasn't just Manly Hall. He wasn't the only guy in the world who believed this. This is 1910. Hall didn't establish PRS until 1934-35, right around there. I hear somebody whispering 666 over there. Yeah, you've got 2 6s. I almost didn't want to point it out. I know. There's 3, 6 cents and then 2 6s up top. In fact, one of the guys that we interview, a guy named Ian Taylor, he's been studying Bacon for years and years. Bacon he's a favorite subject matter of esoteric wisdom teachers because he was into ciphers and secret codes and all this other kind of stuff, all the stuff that you find in the occult. Bacon was into it, and he had a very romantic approach to it. But yeah, it's very interesting that you've got this stamp with, all right, so with 666 on it. So I just wanted to recap real quick Bacon before I get to the next section. Bacon became the chief of the Rosicrucian order in England. Now the way that the Rosicrucians came about in England, I think this is very significant. When Queen Elizabeth I came to the throne, okay, she came to the throne right away. the Pope